okay, I love musicals and doggone it, I'm gonna write a musical. And it's going to be about my experiences, my observations, and the stories that I have heard, and connect them into one big story.
Right.
And that's what it is. My name is Mario Suarez, and I'm the playwright of La Zafra, a project that I started in 2001, finished the first draft in 2006. I thought I had written a masterpiece, and soon I found out that it was not. I submitted the play to Center Stage on the New Play Festival. Before I even submitted my play, I was going to some of those readings, and I thought, maybe I ought to submit my play. So I did, and lo and behold, I was one of the 10 finalists. I was thrilled, and I said, gee whiz, I missed 3 spots for the reading. I don't get discouraged very easily, so they had a play going on, I forgot, and I called to get tickets, and lo and behold, Laura answers the telephone. Hello, can I help you? I said, well, I want to buy some tickets. Is this Mario? I said, yeah. We're still interested in your play. I said, oh my gosh, she is,
Wow.
and 2000, and I got real excited. I changed the play and submitted it again. The private reading, which was so helpful to me, and I realized what I had to change. Luckily, Laura suggested almost the same thing that I had thought. I said, well, I'm on the right track here.
Yeah.
So I'll do that. And then she assigned David Bitch, who was the director of the new Play Festival, make some suggestions. I listened to him and good suggestions, and I made some adjustments to my play. I still wasn't completely happy with it, but I'm happier than I was before. And I got the happiest when Laura got involved with it and said very professionally, in this area you need to do this, in this area do you need this character? And I said, and I said, well, no, I don't need him. So it's been a very helpful experience to me, and if nothing comes of it, I have grown so much doing this that I wouldn't change it any bit. Whether the play goes somewhere or not, it doesn't matter. It's like, it's a joy to have written the play. It's a joy to have met Orlando, who portrays my play in such a beautiful artwork. That's Moises.
My name is Orlando Corona. I'm a visual artist here in the upstate, Greenville, South Carolina base. I specialize in printmaking, oil painting, and public art, and also I get the privilege to work with kids throughout the Greenville County schools. I'm the artist for the musical. It's kind of hard to say because I can't even believe it, and this was probably one of the most fun projects I've done in my career. Everything about this project was very appealing, from the story that it connects to my grandfather, to my father, to even me at some point in my life. It was very special seeing this kind of work in Greenville. And I had recently done an exhibit solo show at Center Stage, and then Laura contacted me, probably a week later after that, and told me about this project, and it was just, I couldn't believe it. It just seemed too good to be true, because it was like, here, this project that we have for this, and it happened to be looking for me, essentially, a Mexican artist that specializes in art that talks, and most of my work is about Mexican culture and, my beginnings, and it was a joy working with this project. I learned a lot from terms of the production and the technical to reading a script for the first time and having to interpret that in a visual context.
Wow.
And having that responsibility of like, wow, this might be the first time somebody sees, this is like the first interaction between your hard work of 20 plus years and my work that I did here. So I was in the back of my mind, I always kept that like, how could I respect this in the most honest way and still give an honest approach to my craft and respect the script and all those years of hard work. And I think one of the things while working on the design for the La Zafra to me was, I saw myself a lot in him. It was one of those things where like, because I used to work construction, restaurant, farm working, and it was one of those things where I've always been that weird kid, quote unquote, that likes the arts, you know, that I would go to musicals with my friends, that I would go see the plays at school, that I would go draw, and it was one of those things where it just resonated with me so well because I know so many people like that are passionate in other fields, but they have to do this job because that's what pays the bills.
You know, I'm originally from Mexico, Ciudad Mante, Tamaulipas. It's a sugarcane country. And as I was growing up, I went to school with children whose parents work in the fields. And then I had friends and classmates whose parents were the owners of these farms. So I had the mixture of rich and poor, and I was kind of in the middle. I love science, and I went into medical technology. I work in the clinical lab. I was made administrative director of the lab. And they asked me if I would volunteer my services during my time off to help migrant workers at the Rosa Clark Clinic in Oaxaca. And so, yes, I said, yes, I'll do that. And I listened to their stories, but one story that stuck with me was the story of Paco. I don't know his last name. I met him at his store. Very successful business, the first one in Oaxaca, called La Espiga. And he told me the story that he was one of those migrant workers that came, vividly explained how painful it was to get on the ladders every day, long hours. And he didn't know whether he was gonna make it the next day, but somehow he did. And he said, fortunately, Ronald Reagan, President of the United States, signed the Amnesty Act, which allowed him to apply for a path to citizenship. I was fortunate to have come to the United States. I had a good life. Yeah, I had my hardships, but not to the extent that Moises or your parents had. They had hardships and they had to sacrifice. So I decided to write about these people like you, people like your father, people like me, and there came the story of Moises Juarez. That's what the play is about. A guy that comes from sugarcane fields, thinking that he's going to rapidly go up, and he ends up in the apple orchards. But what he experiences is more than just labor. He experiences love, understanding, finally, by others. I don't want to tell you the ending, but just come to La Zafra. You're going to come, aren't you?
I got it on the schedule.
And I think they're going to display your artwork.
I'm excited for it. And I think a musical is the best way to present it, you know?
Thank you.
You know, it shows the music, the people, because you get to see people. I think with movies, you have that separation between 2D and 3D. You're seeing people on stage.
Well, you know, it's a good point because music is universal. People understand it. Songs are sung out of pain, joy, grief. That's how they are written. And this is how this play is written. It's not just joy or grief or all doom and gloom. There is opportunity for us to do better.
Yeah, it's an incredible project. Please come out to October 18th. We're gonna have a beautiful celebration at Center Stage. Get your tickets. They're free, but make sure you sign up. And you know, we hope this goes into production and you get to come with us and celebrate, dance, cry a little bit, laugh. Yeah, come and celebrate with us. This is something that I'm very proud that I got to work with.